Sure. もう人気になったので、始めてみます。じゃあ、let me turn on my videos.
Robert-san, can I use
Yes.
my slides, share desktop?
Yeah, just give me that. So I will start with you. So welcome everyone for the today's Japanese language salon. And I think a few of you will join, but let's start because it's already 2. So to start with today's salon, I would like to first invite Professor Ji Dang from Saitama University to give us the opening remarks. Over to you, Sanjay.
Thank you very much. I will share my desktop. But before that, okay.
Can you share? Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you everyone for joining today's Japanese language salon. And I hope you can keep your camera on, and but I hope you can also realize that we are on the recording for the purpose of later taking pictures of this event, or for other purpose of or report, an online report or something. And I think you guys today gather here is for some reason, because you really know the question of what I'm trying to talk here, why we need to learn some Japanese, right? Because we are in Japan. For my personal experience, I can say that you can far more enjoy your stay here in Japan. You can travel around in Japan, and you can talk with Japanese friends with around you, make new friends, and it can help you find very much more information, helping you do things better. And one of the most important thing, I think, is it can help you to find your career here. In all of my friends, we started study in Japan. I think I'm one of the very few lucky one that can stay in Japan and find a job in Japan. And one of the biggest difference is that when we doing our daughter course or study, we learn some Japanese somehow. Not very good, but some level somehow. And today, for the opening address, I will like to introduce or this group. This group is under the JIC International Activity Center, IAC, and this was launched from 2012. So right now it's the 12 years. And under the IOC, there is a lot of group under there. Here we are, this event was hosted by the International Civil Engineer Group. The different with other committees in JSC, this group, almost all the members are foreigner, or say international civil engineers. We hold this group. This group will have a lot of very excellent activities, such as supporting international students. We run the house standby program. Someone just joined a few weeks ago. And we also gathering some internship information. I hope we can share with you later. Not today, but soon, I think. We provide information of Japanese language learning for civil engineering students, like we do today. I hope you can realize that we have a very active updating IAC news. You can read this news online if you joined our associate membership program. You can find a lot of new information to find out new activities, new event, conference, meetings, and all the amazing things happens in JSC from the IAC News. IAC News holding in English. We have both English version and Japanese version. You can read English version, but to improve your Japanese, you may like to read the Japanese version also. And also like to ask you for your attention to join the GSC Associate Member Program. I just put the QR code here. Once you join this program, you may receive the newest online free news of GSC, and you don't need to pay for the membership. For student membership, you need to pay that. For the associate membership, you just need to register your information, and all other things are all free for you, and you can join a lot of events from using this membership. If you didn't have this, I know some of you already have this. If you didn't, please just take a smartphone and maybe I'm blocking the QR code and just start to register today. Thank you very much. And today, I think the facilitator will be Rafa-san, but I just let you know that today we have the 1-hour program, and we have all the contents here, and hope you can have fun today. And hope you can keep the camera on and enjoy today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rang Sensei, for giving a very brief overview of our group. And I guess some of you might have joined some previous events from IAC also. So based on that, based on your feedbacks, we value your feedbacks. That's why we came up with that most of you wants to learn Japanese as well. So under that motivation, we thought of why not we start this Japanese language salon and Japanese language program. So just to give you an idea about why learning Japanese is important. So we have an engineer from Andav Hazama. So she will also give you an overview of how learning Japanese, being in Japan and learning Japanese helped her build her career or have a very fruitful life here in Japan. So now, next, I would like to invite Ekaterina-san. Ekaterina-san.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Can you share your screen and start your presentation?
Yes, sure. Wait a moment. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you. So let me start my presentation about how learning Japanese actually helped me here. But before, I'd like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Ulanova Ekaterina. You can call me Katya. So I was born and raised in Siberia in Russia. And after high school, I went to Russian State University of Oil and Gas to become a petroleum engineer. And after my studies, I worked in Russia, in Moscow, for 2 years as hydrogeologist. Then in 2019, I moved to Japan to continue my studies at the University of Tokyo. And after that, I got into Hazama Ando in 2022. So all these pictures represent the things I like. So basically, I'm from Siberia, right? And I like my country. I like Siberia. I like cold weather, I like my family. And everything about Japan, I really love. So it's whether it's culture, language, anime, manga, everything I like. I like J-pop. I like traveling inside Japan, outside Japan. And recently I've been into bouldering a lot. And in 2021, there were Tokyo Olympic Paralympic Games. So I was there as a volunteer. I interpret the interviews of the athletes. So this is a Russian athlete, and this is me standing there. And somewhere around here, my Japanese studying Japanese journey has started. It was 2017 when I decided, actually it was my dream from age of 15 to come to Japan, but it didn't happen until 2017 when I decided to come to Japan, and I started purposefully learning Japanese language for that. So, about this photo, this is interesting. Do you know who is this? This is now she is a widow of Abe-san, former Premier Minister. And when there was official visiting of Premier Minister Abe, in Moscow. She also came, and we all met because I was a part of Japan Foundation organization. And funny story to tell. So we were sitting in the circle, introducing ourselves one by one, and we had to say like, "Watashi no namae wa, suki na mono wa." So I wanted to say like, "Suki na tabemono wa amai mono desu," which means like my favorite food is sweets. But instead of that, I said, "Suki na tabemono wa amimono desu," which means that I love eating things. But basically, Japanese language didn't help me, but she was very kind to not laugh openly about that. But I think I will remember this story forever. Anyways, so about my Japanese studies, like I've been, I created this graph to just show you my Japanese language milestones. So I started studying in 2017, and I took N5 in 2017. So next year it was N4, next year N3. And because of pandemic, I didn't complete N2. So I did it in 2021. And now I'm stuck on N1. So my level is still N2, and I failed N1 for a couple of times. There are some reasons, I think, for this, but all the previous JLPT exams that I took, I passed from the first attempt, basically. So yes, and how I studied Japanese, I started with a private tutor, with a Japan Foundation. They offer freelance basic Japanese, I would say even survival Japanese. So yeah, but it was fun anyway. And then when I came in Todai, I came as a research student, and I had few months to just to prepare for my enter exams for the masters. And I went to this Center for Japanese Language Education, and they offer intensive Japanese course. So this thing was very, very helpful for me. This is an intensive course which they offer every day classes for Japanese full day. So you study from Monday to Friday, full day Japanese studying course. So the senseis are very determined to teach you. They assign you a lot of homeworks, and it's not just they assign you and they forget. They will come and ask you, and they also made us to make a phone calls, because foreigners are very afraid of making phone calls in Japanese in Japan. So they also made us do this, and I'm so grateful that I completed the course here. So if you have time, if you're Todai, then please do it. Highly recommend this. So these are my friends from that course, and I'm still good friends with them and my senseis. And then, of course, I did a self-education with several books. I wish it was the most of the time I was studying Japanese, but actually I studied a lot like this. So I studied from anime, manga, drama, because I love Japanese language, Japanese movies, manga, anime, everything. So as long as it's in Japanese and you can read the subtitles, which are in Japanese, I think you still can learn. And this is a very useful way to do that. So let's go back to this line. And the funny thing is that I was thinking, what about speaking skills? So this is just a certificate, right? But JLPT doesn't test your speaking skills as well as writing skills. And I compared my speaking skills at that time to the certificate, for example. And it turned out that my speaking skills were much lower. So for example, when I came to Japan, I was like, I'm N3, but I actually wasn't N3. I think I was around N5, and then I actually started speaking some Japanese. I think I grew up at some point, but then partly because of pandemic occurred, my Japanese didn't improve at all before 2022 when I actually came to Hazama Ando. So I realized that I can understand much more than actually speak, and I felt myself trapped. You know, it's like a dog feeling. Dogs can understand you, but they cannot say anything. So let's look at my resume in 2021, because that was the year when I graduated from Todai and I started job hunting in Japan. So a funny thing to notice that I thought that my resume was just perfect, because look at this. I have JLPT N2 and I have Todai on my CV, and I have a little bit of working experience as engineer. I was like, I got a lucky ticket to the future, to the companies in Japan, and I did job hunting and applied for 100 companies, but unfortunately I was 9 months unemployed, and it was kind of failure, I would say, for me, because 9 months is a long time. And looking back at that experience, I created a list of whys. Why did it take me so long to find a job in Japan? What was the main reason? So I would say that the main reason was that job hunting was done after graduation. So I don't know about job hunting system in your country, but in Japan, it's different. You have to find a job before graduation, 1 year before graduation. And if you miss your timeline, you miss basically everything. So it's like you still can find a job, but this would be different way of hiring or something. They would offer you something different, not like maybe not taking you in the state, or maybe some other type of contract. So, or also I did kind of wrong job hunting, like I was applying to wrong companies and etc. etc. But all this list is like only half of the reason. The other half of the reason, I think that this is the gap. So at that time, I told you, I already had N2, but my speaking skills were lower than N3 for my perception. So I failed mostly after every first interview in Japanese, because I wasn't able to keep up the professional level of the language they use during interview. Of course, I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I was preparing, I was learning my script, what I'm gonna, and any question out of the frame would freak me out, in the sense that, for example, I remember there was one interviewee which asked me, so you're a petroleum engineer, tell me what the petroleum is. It was in Japanese, and that was the first and the only time when I literally didn't know what to answer, because I didn't have the vocabulary for petroleum engineering, and I couldn't explain him what was that. So yes, and now looking back to my previous life, I feel like I was in the bubble, in the terms that my university program in Todai was completely in English, and my sensei, he was perfect in English, basically, and I did my master's in English. And I did my baito in English. I was English teaching, I was English teacher teaching Japanese kids English, and I didn't have to speak Japanese. This job was highly paid, easy money, nothing to worry about. And all my cool friends, they were foreigners, and we hang out together, so no Japanese friends. And my husband, he's actually Russian, no connection to Japan at all. But once I got into Ando Hazama, my bubble burst, and there is no more English. There is still English society in my life, but not as much as it used to be. And now I'm fully immersed into Japanese speaking environment, working in Japanese. So there is some kind of list I made about things I regret not doing when I was a student, because you're students now, and this is a very valuable time for you. And I wish I did this. Like, I regret not doing baito in Japanese. I told you all my baito was in English, and that was a mistake because I didn't know the working culture of Japan. You might hear about working culture in Japan 100 times, but you won't understand unless you're into that environment at the end. So even if it's poorly paid job, I recommend you to do that because it's better to know if this business culture suits you or not before you actually do job hunting in Japan. Not giving presentations in Japanese at the university, because Japanese presentations require high-level Japanese, for example, and it's a very good practice for you for future job hunting to keep up with the level. Choosing my foreign friends over Japanese friends, because when you're hanging out with your friends, you want to relax, you want your brain to relax. So basically, when I'm with my Japanese friends, my brain had to work. And when it's time to relax, I was contemplating things they were saying, and that made me feel like, no, I just don't want to do that anymore. Unfortunately, I didn't work hard for that. And neglecting the importance of speaking Japanese. So as I told you before, I lived in a bubble, but this bubble will burst if you stay in Japan after your graduation, because the university in English will be over, your baito in English will be over, your foreign friends will go home, and you will stay, and most likely, if you stay here in Japan, most likely your job will be in Japanese. So it's very important to speak Japanese, or at least prepare to speak that. So at the end, learning Japanese helped me. First of all, I got into Hazama Corporation because all my interviews were in Japanese, and I finally made it. And now I'm working in domestic department because of Corona environment. We don't have much international projects, so that's why they assigned me to domestic department where everything is done in Japanese. So these are practical things that how I'm using Japanese at my work. I'm reading, writing documents, reports, and emails in Japanese, listening to the presentations, meetings with clients, group meetings. I'm talking on the phone with my boss, with my group mates, sometimes with our subcontractors. We share opinion with each other, giving presentations, talking to clients. And I placed all these points in the ascending way of difficulty. I think talking to clients, giving presentation, and expressing yourself in Japanese is the hardest thing for me personally. So if your Japanese is very good to keep up with all these things and you're good at your work, there is going to be a promotion or they will assign you more responsible work. Why not? But a part of the practical use of the Japanese, let's think about something spiritual or more mental. So learning Japanese, you get to know Japanese people and their culture, and you can make some friends with them. So I truly believe that people are the culture, and through the talking to the people, I get to know the culture basically. And that's a huge miss out if you don't have some Japanese acquaintance, or you don't learn Japanese cultures through the friends. And if you get some friends, you can make some more deep connections. And by making those connections, I realized that there is no me and them. We are all the same. We share the same emotions. We are very much alike. And I really enjoy that fact. So also, when I didn't speak enough Japanese, I had this buzzing feeling of always missing out something important. There is, for example, a job listing, and the one position requirement matches my skills, but they require Japanese level N1 and above, for example. And I'm like, I'm missing out because I cannot apply for this position, obviously. I will not pass even the first interview, which was the most of the cases for me, for example. So this missing out passing feeling, it will go over if you even have this feeling. And so once you step out from your comfort zone, you create a new comfort zone for yourself. It's your choice to choose your perception of your work. Like you might think, for example, I hate my job. I don't understand what the Japanese people say. It takes longer for me to complete the task. It's not fair. They will not listen to me. They don't trust me. They will never give me such responsibility. Instead of that, I want you to write down every word you don't understand during group meeting and learn it. And think like, oh, today I learned a new word, or week later, I could express my opinion during group meeting, and I completed this task faster than I used to do it months before. Or I managed to talk to subcontractors on the phone, and for example, I got a new task with more responsibilities. I want you to think about this, not what you missed out, but what you actually learned. And to stay positive always makes you want to grow more and more. So final recommendations for you, just if you're not here yet, please start learning Japanese because it's time. And expand your network. Go out, meet some new people, meet Japanese people. Even if they speak English with them. Try to reach out as more people as you can. So this is all about networking, expanding your comfort zone. Try to connect to Japanese people, as I mentioned before. You're a student now. There are a lot of circles in your university. You can join any circle. You can create a rock band together. You can interact with Japanese people, and it's going to be a very fun experience. For example, I went to Kendo Club in my university. That was a few months before Corona. Unfortunately, they closed during Corona. Do baito in Japanese, even if it's poorly paid, that would be a very valuable experience. Trust me, well, to my image, because this is how you learn the business culture in Japan. Take any step out of the comfort zone. So, for example, you are studying at the group and there is a Japanese group mates and they have this conference of civil engineers in Japanese and they're preparing their slides for that, but you're going to English speaking section. You can come and ask your sensei, can I present in Japanese, for example? Try to be the one who is asking for it, to getting it. Oh, this is, I found myself, this is very useful, Google in Japanese. So, for example, the same Japanese websites, they are fully informed in Japanese rather than the same version in English. And the information is more correct. And switch your phone into Japanese language. So I switched all my devices into Japanese to make my eye adopt to Japanese text, because it's really, really difficult first when you start reading Japanese to get used to it. And always remember what's your motivation of being here, because remember, life will change slightly after being a student, and why you're here, what kind of experience you wanted to get here. Is it worth staying here or not? So please remember that. And this is about learning in Japanese, so longer run wins. What I mean is that consistently learning 3 kanji per day, for example, you win versus 50 kanji per week before, like JLPT, maybe 2 weeks before JLPT or 3 weeks before JLPT, you started learning kanji all of a sudden. And that doesn't work like this. 3 kanji per day the whole year without break will make you there faster. And last thing to tell is just enjoy your life in Japan, whatever it is, but I'm sure with speaking Japanese, it would be so much more fun. Yes, that's all. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ekaterina, for such an informative and brilliant presentation, I think. I'm sure like everybody got to understand why learning Japanese is important being in Japan. And then how she mentioned that your job environment is different than your university environment. So it is always better that you start learning it early, because even she mentioned even for JLPT it took her like 5 years, and now she's reaching for like N1 level. I'm sure she's already N1, but JLPT is only an exam. So it's just an exam. But beside that, what's important is that if you are not able to communicate, it becomes difficult to actually get the jobs and stuff. So I would like really appreciate that she mentioned all the key points. So we have, I guess, around 5 minutes. And if you guys want to ask any questions to Ekaterina, you can unmute yourself and ask. And then we will have one quiz, which will again focus on the fact that how learning the vocabulary or how expanding your vocabulary in Japanese is going to help you. So for that, like if you have any questions first, you can ask that.
Excuse me, may I ask a question?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Ishad.
First of all, I would like to thank you, Ekaterina, for your valuable opinion and guidance. I want to ask about I'm also learning Japanese, but I am actually eager to find new friends. It's very hard to make new friends, especially with the different cultural background. But if you give any a good guidance or tip that how can we understand the nature of Japanese people? For example, if I want to have a dinner with them, what will be the what is the culture like? Everyone have to pay in the dinner gathering, or I shall pay for the dinner? I mean, how to deal with that kind of matter in the start of friendship? Thank you.
Wow, thank you for your question. And for the dinner wise, how it's usually done, it's like you invite a group of people. It doesn't mean that you pay for them. No, it's just you're offered spending time together. You're not, I mean, you don't have to pay. So that's what I want to say. You're just inviting, and I don't know, is it your university friends, or who are they?
Yes,
You might be thinking.
yeah, I'm actually thinking about my university friend, especially the lab mates, but I'm not sure what way is better, like in Japanese culture. I mean, if I ask them for dinner and inform them to prepare or to pay individual bill, maybe they will get mind of it or something like that. I'm just confused, so that's why I ask about that type of question.
So I, before Corona, when I was a university student, I invited my lab mates to have a lunch or dinner together. And we went, and they were my senpais, but they didn't pay. So it's like, it's okay, don't pay. That's what I want to say. And actually, maybe some people will be rejecting your offer, but maybe there is a money-wise reason. Then if you really wanted them to join, you can say that you will pay for them, for example, or something like that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Don't
thank you.
worry.
And yeah, and I want to say the last thankful remarks from me that I really like your opinion that we should switch our devices to Japanese language. Like I like that concept, and I will do that. Thank you for your
Yes,
guidance.
please. I actually made my Japanese coworker, to change his devices into English. So he was like, I want to study English. I was like, you have to change it into English, you know? So I think he's struggling right now, but that's okay. You'll get over it. Trust me.
Thank you so much. And Irshad, I think as Katrina again mentioned, like about these small things, as you will meet Japanese people, you will get to know. So don't worry in the starting if you offer them to pay or like or you are offering to pay for them. It's okay. The more you go out with them, you will learn. So just don't hesitate and go ahead and learn Japanese and talk to them more and more. So maybe we can take one more small question. If anybody has a quick question, you can ask now. Not really. So okay, and you can again you can of course write to us at our email ID, which I sent the email from internationalstudentsjapan@gmail. So you can ask questions later as well. And okay, so for today's session, we will move ahead with the next program, which is gonna be a quiz, so that you will also get to know where exactly you can use Japanese and all that. So I would like to invite now Dipanshu from our group to share his screen and organize that quiz. Maybe please keep your phones or one Chrome browser or any browser you use ready, because you will have to input a code and write the answers. I think Dipanshu sent the link in chat. So
as you can see the link in the chat, you can either open it in your web browser in the same system as you're using Zoom, or please allow me to share my screen, and then you can also log in at the quiz by typing in menti.com and use the code 39887939. So I'll wait at this screen so that all the participants can join this menti.com. So you can either join using the link in the chat, or you can open any browser of your choice and type in menti.com and use the code 39887939. And on the screen, you can see the question, what aspect of Japan fascinates you the most? So please feel free to input your responses. You can input 1, 2, 3, or multiple responses as you like. So please feel free to respond. As you can see on the shared screen, we have now 4 participants logged into the quiz. So we'll wait for a couple of more minutes for other members to join.
You don't need to register or anything. Just put the code in Mentimeter and then you can just answer the questions. If anybody is having any difficulty in joining, so let us know.
Yeah, please unmute yourself and please let us know what difficulty you're facing.
Lot of interesting
yeah, we have a lot of interesting words coming in.
Excuse me, I have submitted the answer, but it seemed like presenter has not changed the slides. Is it okay? My answer is submitted.
Yeah, the current mode of the Mentimeter is it will follow the host mode. So please kindly wait for me to move to the next slide. So I'll explain about the quiz. So we'll just staying on this home page so that all the participants and members can answer it.
And don't close that. Close it yet. We will have a quiz, small quiz.
Okay, so let's move on. So this I humbly welcome you all to our quiz. So let me explain a brief about the quiz. So there are 3 points about the quiz. It is going to be number one is it is going to be a fun quiz. Number two, it will mention that how vocabulary is important for learning in Japanese language. Thirdly, this quiz contains 14 questions, and you will get 5 seconds to read the question and 15 seconds to answer the question. I will show the leaderboard in the mid of the quiz and at the end of the quiz. So let's get started. I hope you get your phones or other devices ready. Just one last thing. The only rule to succeed in the quiz is to answer the correct select the correct option and answer fast. So let's start. So we have now 19 players ready. So let's enter the quiz. So how many tofuken are there in Japan? So the options are 45, 46, 47, or 48. You might have to think what tofuken really is. So 5 of you got the correct answer. So let's move on to the next question then. How many kanjis are used on a daily basis in Japanese? Around 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, or 1,000. Nisen, sanzen, kosen, or sen.
Reading the newspaper also included, or just using how used?
Oh, on a daily basis, yes.
So
almost half of you got it right. So congratulations. So let's move on to the next slide. Next question. So what is the average time for the sumo fight? So is it few seconds, few minutes, or few hours?
The faster you answer, the more points you will get. So
Yeah.
don't forget.
1 hour.
Okay. Yeah. So a few seconds is the correct answer. So let's move on to the next question. Mount Fuji is the highest peak in Japan. We all know that. So what is its height in meters? So we all know that it's around a little less than 4,000. So how much less it is? Either it is 3,976, 3,886, or 3,776, or 3,667 meters. Oh. So it's maybe a tricky question. So yeah. So then let's move on to our 5th question. What is the farthest Fujimi area in Japan? So the options are Mie Prefecture, Wakayama Prefecture, Fukushima Prefecture, Tochigi Prefecture. So you might be wondering what Fujimi area is. We may explain after this question. So the correct answer is Wakayama Prefecture, which 4 of the participants got it right. So Fujimi Point is the farthest point from where you can see Mount Fuji. So from the kanji, you can get the meaning of that. So moving next, our 6th question. Which year did the Shinkansen begin operating in Japan? Is it 1964, 1960, 1968, or 1954? Okay, 1964 is the correct answer. It started with the Tokyo Olympics hosted in 1964. Then this is the 7th question. What is the highest speed of Japan's high-speed rail in kilometer per hour? Is it 300, 320, 340, or 400? Oh, everyone has voted. Wow. So that was quick. Okay, so now we have the leaderboard on our screen. So let's see who is on the top. So we have Shami on the top with 6,500 points.
Yeah, I think you can ignore Shami because that's me. So the top leader I would say is Snuggles. Can Snuggles just raise hand? Like, who is Snuggles?
Okay.
Okay, Snuggles is a little bit shy. That's okay. We still have 7 more questions to answer, so let's see.
Let's see who is.
Maybe it's me. Sorry, maybe it's me.
Okay,
But I didn't input my name, so I don't know.
Let's move on to the 8th question then. Which of the following represent the sound of neko in Japanese onomatopoeia? Is it mama? Is it nyanya, kapita, or gorogoro? Oh wow! People are really quick now.
Now everybody is fast.
So everyone knows that answering fast, you will get more points. So let's move on to the next onomatopoeia question. What does the onomatopoeia peko peko often represent in Japanese? Is it bouncing, or is it hunger sound? Is it whistling, or is it tickling? Okay. The correct answer is when you feel hungry, onaka peko peko. So it's for hunger. So move on to the next question. How would you express the sound of successfully completing a project using onomatopoeia? Is it pika pika, biri biri, ho, or bun bun? Boom, boom, boom. So this is difficult for Japanese people as well. The correct answer is ho. So 6 of the participants got it right. So let's move on to the next question. What does the kanji represent? Is it Tokyo or Kyoto?
Something you see on a very daily basis.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So almost all of you got it right. Then let's move on to our next question. What does this kanji represent? There's a hint mentioned on the top. It is related to a bamboo used to catch seaweed and fish. Is it Yosuya or is it Hibiya? Oh wow! Almost everyone got it right. So let's move on to the next question. The second last question of this quiz. What does this kanji represent? So again, there is a hint mentioned. It is related to a new station established on Koshu Highway. Is it Shinjuku or Shumbashi?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Mostly all the participants got it right. So then the last quiz question is as follows. What is the term for Japanese emoticons often used in digital communication where characters are combined to create expressive faces? The options are hiragana, kaomoji, kanji, or romaji. Okay. So almost all the people got it right. So now let's move to the leaderboard and see who is on the top. Okay. So
Beyonce is here. Yeah, just ignore Sham. Who's Beyonce?
so we have on the top Shami, which is Rahul, and on second we have Beyonce. So if a participant wants to identify himself or herself as Beyonce, please unmute yourself for.
I think it's me.
Wow, congratulations. So that brings us to the end of the quiz. I'll hand it back to Rahul. Thank you everyone for your participation. I hope you enjoyed the quiz.
Thank you so much, Dipanshu, for organizing this a very informative as well as fun quiz. So I guess almost all of you could see that even if the question is in English, but there is just one word which is mentioned in Japanese, there are chances that you might not be able to understand what exactly the person is asking. So that is where, like Ekaterina also focused, Dipanshu also wanted to focus that even though you can like clear the JLPT or anything, improving your vocabulary is very important. And the second thing which I found very interesting in this quiz was that some of the kanjis, for example, Tokyo, Hibiya, all these kanjis you see on a very daily basis. But in the hint, you saw that these kanjis have meanings as well. So even if you can understand like meaning of some kanjis, you can guess quickly that what exactly it is, it might mean and what it stands for. So understanding each and every kanji is very important. This is going to help you like in reading, improving your reading. And because once you will start learning Japanese, you will see that you don't actually read all of it. You can quickly look at it and you will get to know like, okay, what exactly this paragraph or this thing wants to say. So again, I would like to thank Dipanshu and Ekaterina for such a wonderful presentation and quiz. So once again, I will give a big round of applause for both of them. So now this will bring me to the last topic of today's presentation, which will be, I think all of you wanted to know that Japanese language program, what exactly this program is and how we will help you in improving your Japanese language. So just to give you a background, I think you already understood that you study Japanese in these Japanese classes. So you feel that, oh, okay, my Nihongo got better, like my Nihongo is Jozu. But when you actually go outside your class and try to communicate or say you want to have interviews in Japanese, that's where you feel like you get stuck with just a konnichiwa, that's it. Like I'm not able to talk much in that. So that is what we want to focus like on this specific problem. And we came up with this Japanese language program. So in this, we basically have two parts. One is the motivational and second is practical. First, you are already participating today, like you already got the motivation that why learning Japanese is important. And in the practical, we will have chat room and something we have called like Kabuki Fest. Just to give you overview, motivational is showing you the importance of understanding Japanese by staying here in Japan, how it will help you improve the communication. And how exactly we're going to do is this Japanese language saloon, which we organized, and we will have it say once a year, especially when most of the international students join, which is say October. So in between October to January, we will have this language saloon so that we can like give you motivation about learning Japanese when you just come to Japan. Because if you start learning it after graduating, it will again going to take you more time and you will realize that, okay, I should have learned it better when I was in the university. Okay. And in the practical, as I said, we will have two. First, chat room. So in chat room, we will have conversations based on your skill level. And this we will try to have one-on-one as well. But let's see. And this, in the second Kabuki Fest, what we will do is whatever you practice during your conversation in chat rooms, you can present it in front of everyone. Now it can be a stage performance, say like a skit, or it can be a presentation you want to give. It can be a speech which you want to give. It can also be a song if you want to sing a song. That is totally okay. So anything, it will be totally up to you that, okay, I want to practice this, or you want to have, say, mock interview, perform in front of everybody. So this will be totally up to you that what kind of thing you want to present. So you can talk about it in the chat room, keeping it motive like in the Kabuki Fest, I want to do this. So this will remove your hesitation to speak in front of people. And the timeline is basically, as I mentioned, that in January we are having this first Japanese language salon, and we will start the chat room from February. February we will have the first chat room. In March we will have another, and then in May we want to have the Kabuki Fest, so that people, those who join in April, which I think a little bit less in case of international students, but those who join, they will also get motivation from this Kabuki Fest to learn Japanese. So this is like the timeline which we are going to follow. And to give you a little bit more detail about the chat room. So first important thing is that these are not Japanese language classes. So we are not going to teach, say, grammar or vocabulary or anything. These are purely based on like communication. So this is to improve your speaking. So your speaking skills should improve. That is why we have come up with this. And we will try to have one-on-one interaction sessions, but it will again be subject to registrations, because we will have Japanese people, those like talking to you guys. So if there, for example, in this program, there were already like 50 people, those who registered. So for 50 people, it will be difficult to have one-on-one sessions. So that is where like we will have some groups so that we can interact. And of course, if there are less number of students, those who are going to participate on one day, we can have one-on-one as well. And we highly encourage you to find somebody in your university, or say if you're working in your office, with whom you want to talk, and bring them to this chat room. You can like invite them here, and we will register them, and you can have like one-on-one interactions. This will help you to have a good friendship within the university or within your working area as well. Okay, so that is where, and if you need any kind of say space, we can try to like organize that also, like face-to-face one. But for the start, we will have them online. And for the one which is going to be in February, based on the registration we have received so far, we will have the chat room for like say 1 hour session, in which like initially 5 minutes will be about the briefing and to introduce like the participants. And then we will have 3 breakout rooms, in which you will talk in one group for like say 15 minutes. And after that, you will move to the second group, so that you can talk about like different stuff. And in the last 10 minutes, we will summarize like all the 3 groups, whatever you have discussed. So you will get chance to talk to more people, as well as you will get chance to talk about whatever you want to say. Like say you want to practice your daily Japanese, or you want to practice your interview related Japanese, or your research work, anything you can do. And to have like Japanese people also join this. So we encourage that the communication should be like 70% Japanese, but also at the same time 30% it should be in English, so that the Japanese people, those who want to improve their English, you can like they also get some benefit out of it, because this is purely volunteer work. So they should also get benefit. That is where like you can coordinate your communication. And I think some of you are already mentioned that they are like at advanced level. So I would highly encourage them that if you guys can communicate with the people, those who are at the beginner level, that will also be like a great thing, I feel. So any questions if you have related to chat room, you can ask, like, and anything if you have in mind, because after this we will have the Japanese people register for this program, and that is where we will like again send you an invite of the first chat room in February. If you have any questions, you can ask now. Okay, it seems like we don't have any specific questions right now. You can again, of course, you can write us at internationalstudentsjapan@gmail.com for any questions if you get again. And since we are short on time, so I will just take 5 more minutes to finally close this program today. And I will give you a brief overview that for everybody, those who have registered and those who are attending the program today. First of all, I would like to say like thank you so much for showing interest. This is your first step toward improving your Japanese. And we already got to see presentation from Ekaterina, where she mentioned all these things that how Japanese can actually help you out. And you also got to see some practical example from Dipanshu that if you know little bit of Japanese, how quickly you can do stuff here in Japan. So again, a big round of applause for Ekaterina and Dipanshu, and for Dang Sensei also for giving us the brief overview of the JSCE of IAC, this our group, and again mentioning that why, focusing on the part that why Japanese is important. So just one more point that most of you mentioned that weekday evenings are the better time to have this kind of chat room. So we will try to organize it during some weekday evening in February. And the next thing is most of you are at the beginner level, I feel. And that is where, so we will divide the whole groups into 3: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And the beginner people can like talk the simple things, and advanced level can talk about, say, world politics or anything you can want to talk about. And I think 2 people already mentioned that they are proficient in Japanese. So I would like to request them if they can volunteer to actually talk to people, those who are at the beginner level. And I feel most of you are concerned about job hunting here in Japan. So JSCE also provides support with that. So please feel free to reach out to us. And of course, learning Japanese is going to improve. Going to improve your chances of having a good job. And I think a lot of you wanna know about like traveling and stuff. So this is definitely going to help you out. And again, want to focus on this fact that some of you mentioned that if we can include, say, grammar or say like N for grammar or N3 grammar. So want to focus on the fact that we will not include anything like, say, from the book Minna no Nihongo or anything, like any curriculum is not there. This is purely communication, which you guys have all, some of you have already mentioned that you can talk about reading some books, mangas, party games, or just focusing that if you are speaking, somebody can correct your that, okay, no, this is how you should be saying, these are the words which you don't use for yourself, these are the words which you use for somebody else. So that kind of things you will get to improve in this program. And based on all your suggestions, we divided the topics. Some sample topics will all, of course, be there to help you out. For beginners, you talk about hobbies, plan for the weekend. And intermediate, you can talk about like if you go to hospital, how do you tell them about your situation. And advanced can be like talking about your research work in Japanese, as Ekaterina also mentioned that even sometimes you don't know the technical words in Japanese. So that kind of things you can tackle at advanced level. So this is our plan, and we will be contacting you again for like this chat room. And I would be very happy if all of you can join during that chat room and improve your Japanese. So thank you so much for joining today. Arigatou gozaimashita. And if anybody has anything you want to say, you can say now. Or if you have question, you can ask, or you can reach out to us at email ID.
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you for taking your time and making all this about the learning Japanese, because yes, as you mentioned, we know that is key for our future. So I thank you for your time. Thank you, Ekaterina, for showing us your path and all of that, sharing that knowledge. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, Rodrigo, for your compliment. Thank you. We appreciate that. Yeah, thank you, Keshav. Thank you so much for joining. So I guess that's all for today's saloon. We will be looking forward to you during the chat room. Once again, a big thanks to Dang Sensei, Ekaterina, and Dipanshu, and especially the JSC staff, which is again sitting us here with us for.
Too, of course.
Thank you for taking out time on Saturday and joining this. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a happy weekend, and we will close the session.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
That's a great presentation. Thank you so much.
Oh, no worries. Thank you.
とっても面白かった。あれですよ。Informative, very. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No problem. See you around.
Yeah.